what's going on, everybody? This is the very first video, well, a first official video, not counting the introduction video, to the Gaming Renewed channel. And what better way to start it off than one of the rarer consoles you'll come across when it comes to PlayStation, and that is the PlayStation 3 20 gig model. Now, a lot of the PlayStation 3 60 gig is like super on fire right now. Everybody wants one, especially if you're big in retro, because it plays all PlayStation 2 and PlayStation 1 games natively on the hardware, where the PS3 80 gig will actually play PS2 and PS1 games, but the PS2 games are emulated via software and they don't have the actual PS2 chip on the board like the 20 gig and the 60 gig models did. The reason why I wanted to start off the channel with the 20 gig, and you actually see this one right here, is it's actually not in bad shape considering the top of these are usually just completely fried. I have tested this one and it does work perfectly fine. It only came with this, no controller. It did come with a power cord, so we'll have to put an HDMI cord with it and an actual controller when we go to sell this on Amazon. But like I said, it did come in good condition. And the reason why I wanted to start off the channel with the 20 gig is just because no one really talks about like why these ones are, in my opinion, could be better than the 60 gig. One, you're going to get this for a lot cheaper than the 60 gig model. The 60 gig is going for, it can go upwards to like $500-$600 depending on where you're going to purchase one at and the condition of the actual console. Where the 20 gig you can get right now for usually around $200, so maybe $250. And there's no difference between the 60 gig and the 20 gig besides the 20 gig. This doesn't lift up, so you don't have access to the little like memory card slots right here. Honestly, I had a 60 gig one at launch. I still have it right now. Still works perfectly fine. And I've never used those. So I don't know anyone who actually uses that. But if you're big into those, then obviously the 20 gig isn't for you. But I doubt many people ever really use them. You only get 2 of the USB slots right here instead of the 4. Again, I don't know how many people need access to all 4. And the only other big difference is the 20 gig did not have Wi-Fi. So the 60 gig you could connect via Wi-Fi. The 20 gig you had to have an Ethernet cable if you wanted to get on the internet with it. Now, when it launched, that probably sucked. But now that, I mean, really everything for the PS3 is offline. So I mean, if you're buying these for, to play your retro games, your PS2, your PS1 titles, you don't need the internet. This thing isn't getting any more software updates. So there's really no reason probably for you ever to get online with one of these, which again gives you all the same functionality from a playing games perspective as the 60 gig, but for a lot less money. So let's crack this one open, see what it looks like on the inside. And yeah, we're gonna have to clean it up because we're not just gonna sell it, because it's definitely not in it's not in the shape to be sold, even though it actually doesn't look all that bad. I'm sure on the inside it's probably a dust bunny. But let's go ahead and crack into this thing and see what she's doing. She actually does have the 20 gig hard drive in it. So, oh, there we go. See, it already got dust right there. But it does have the 20 gig hard drive in it for anyone wondering. And I mean, it can always be upgraded. This specific model, I'm not going to upgrade the hard drive, but there's not much to it if you wanted to do that. I mean, literally, we're about to pull the hard drive out right now. So, is this an 8? Wow, yeah, wow, grab the wrong one. Ain't that something? Starting the channel off amazingly. Yes, yes. Show all of the rookiness. Oh, wow, it's even smaller than I thought. That's what she said. Oh, let's see. Okay, come on, come on. Wow, what an idiot. What an idiot. Why did I think that that was a Torx? I don't know why. Ah, too big. She never says that. This channel's starting off just amazingly. Amazingly. All right, go ahead and crack this bolt out. We can take the hard drive out. Boom. Ooh, Never mind. It actually has an 80 gig in it. For me, it said 60. I mean, I thought I said 20 when I tested this. I don't know, but that's good. I mean, shoot. That means we definitely don't have to upgrade it. I mean, you could do a lot more. Usually, if I upgrade these, I just throw SSD in them because now the cost of an SSD compared to the cost of a regular hard drive, they are so close that it doesn't even make sense to put in a regular hard drive anymore. You can't really get the speed of the SSD because these consoles, they just, they weren't really made to take advantage of SSD drives. So even if you put one in it, you're not going to see a big, oh my goodness, somebody was definitely digging into this one. I guess whoever wanted to upgrade this one, oh, and they definitely, oh man, yeah, they totally rounded that one out. So whoever upgraded this went for the one upgrade to end all upgrades and probably never wanted this thing to be upgraded again. I don't know. I wanted to open it up just so we could clean in it. I want to get that bolt out of there. We could put a different bolt there, but man, this is going to be interesting to get in there. Let's see if we can hopefully find something that'll stick up in there and get that bolt out of there. Wow, that sucks. Went from a great thing to a horrible thing that quick. Oh man. Probably gonna have to get my little screw extractor kit, which of course I don't have down here. Let's see. Da, 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 da. Mm, hmm. Yeah, we're gonna have to come back to that one because I don't have what I need to get that bolt out on me right now. So, but that's fine. Like I said, I'll just get my little screw extractor kit and we'll get that bolt out. Then I'll put in one of these bolts over here that I keep. It's just tons of spare bolts from things. It's always good to have that. Let's see. Let's go ahead and crack into this and completely ruin the warranty sticker on it because you really don't want to see the warranty sticker when you buy one of these. No, normally, you want your warranty stickers because it shows nobody's been in it. But when the console is this old, you don't want to see that because if nobody's been in it, it's not a good thing. It's probably super dirty in there, never been touched, and it's just all around not a good thing for you. Jesus Christ, this thing does not want to come out. Yeah, nobody's ever been in here. Come on out. Come on out, my little rubber friend. Ah, there we go. Good God. I think that's definitely one of the worst ones I've ever dealt with. We'll have to replace that, but be all right. It's not the end of the world. Tons of these things lying around. And it's still a Torx, which it should have been because I mean nobody's been in it, and we can get all the way to it, can we? Come on. I hate dealing with these things. There we go. One Torx screw out, and boop. Come on. There we go. Let's see how the thing looks. Wow, this isn't broke. It's actually good. This little piece right here stops it from sliding. Most of these consoles, you can just slide it back and forth. Now, not saying you can slide it to the point to where you can just take it off, even though usually you can't. But this one actually is in perfect shape. Like, I don't think not one of these is broke. This is a unicorn, but you can see it's still filthy. It's can be, I mean, it's dirty. It can be all around here. So again, these are all things that has to be cleaned, which just shows you no matter how good it looks on the outside, the inside can be a complete mess. All right, so we're not dealing with that. Boom. For anyone wondering, they're like, oh man, you're using a impact. or not really impact, motorized, whatever you want to call this thing. It's it's not bad as long as you break the screw loose first manually. Where you get into trouble is if you try to just let the tool do everything. That will get you messed up because then you'll start stripping bolts. But if you break it loose yourself first, normally it's not that bad. Okay, come on out of there, buddy. All right, gonna have to coax you out. Boop. There we go. I always wear these gloves because sometimes you don't know what you run across, especially when it comes to old Nintendo consoles. For some reason, those things just always have bugs in them. I don't know what it is, but that's the console I know. Like, if it's dirty, I'm probably going to come across a bug or two. Hopefully, they're all dead, even though there has been some cases where the bug definitely was not dead. All right, that one's a little too deep. We'll need a little more length, giggity, to get to that one. I'm here. I'm out of there, my friend. Come on. There you go. Oh, no. There we go. All right, all right. And do we have any more to get out of here? That might be it. Do. Yep, I believe that's it. All right. And since this one, normally there would be two screws right here that holds in that memory card array I was telling you about that these ones don't have. Well, since this one doesn't have it, it looks like they didn't even put screws there. So, I mean, I don't know what the screws would do since it's not there, but, it is what it is. All right, so you see that? You just push this in, and then the case comes right on up. You don't have to push it that hard. And the good thing about this one not having good God, this thing is dirty. Look at that. See? That's why you don't judge a book by its cover. This one is filthy. Good God, it's filthy. Uh, but yeah, so normally when you take that top off, if it's a 60 gig or I believe maybe it's the first editions of the 80 gig might have had that memory card thing. I'm not 100% sure about that one, so don't quote me on that. But it would be like a little ribbon cable that you would have to take off because that piece. Oh no! I accidentally grabbed both of them because that piece like would sit right in here in these little clamps right there. So that ribbon cable will be from this device to it will be something right there, but that's not there because obviously it doesn't have it. But just be aware of that. That's definitely possible. Good God, this thing is atrocious. That is what this thing is suffering through every time it plays a game. But victory for the console because we're about to get it all cleaned up. So we don't have to worry about that anymore. And it can live a better life than what it has been living. Hopefully, whoever else gets this will enjoy it and play it for a long time. Let's see. Come on out of there, ribbon cable. All right. And gonna take this assembly off first. Now there is it's not really a set way you have to take these things apart. At least, I mean, not to my knowledge. I have taken a few apart, not the 20 gigs. Usually it's 60 gigs and 80 gigs. Uh, every once in a while I'll get a 40 gig, but that's not that it's not that common. And honestly, not a lot of people want the 40 gigs because really the only reason these things are in demand is just to play older titles. So if you can't play the older titles, then it's really there's really no market for them. However, I have sold a couple 40 gigs. All right, set that over there so we can blow this out. Oh my gosh, these things are We'll wipe them down more. Uh, well, I mean, we'll clean it out a lot more than what it seems like we're doing right now, but that's just to get the heavy dust bunnies out of it. All right, let's spin this thing around, and hopefully not so many dust bunnies get on the desk. Let's see here. Next up, we'll take out the power supply. Come here. Power supply is literally just, oh shoot, did not mean to do that. When you take the screws out the top, that's what holds this down. So that's why this comes off so easily. And you know what? Since it wants to come off, we'll just go ahead and take it off. Let's see. Let's get that from underneath there. So we'll turn around. But yeah, it's nothing. It's just a little cable that sits underneath this little cable management hook. Put that in there. Wiggle her on up. She comes off. And then when you lift it up, there's going to be ribbon cables going to the board. So when you lift it up, just be mindful of that. And nothing alive underneath there. Thank you. So there's the ribbon cable I'm talking about. I just like to clip it from there because it's just easier. So there's like a little clip right there. You just free up that thing, comes right off. That's always my preferred way. Some people like to do it right here from the board. I'll just do that later. It's always easier for me to get the disk drive off by just popping it right there. Again, let's clean this off with some compressed air because before you guys see, yeah, it's super filthy, which means it's probably going to be super filthy inside of it. But we'll be opening that up and cleaning that out as well. Oh, there we go. Ugh. Just that makes it look a thousand times better. And that's nothing but just hitting it with some compressed air. Ugh. Well, it won't come off. All right. And we will sit that. You can sit right there because I doubt I'm going to need to open that up. Now back to the power supply, which is just a screw here, screw there, screw there. You got a screw there and a screw there. And that's it. And you got your little, uh, what you call it? A little wire right there. You just push down it's like a little flap clamp right there. Push that down and she comes right on out. Hardest part is actually getting the dang wires off of the little cable management. And this wire is the wire from the plug where you actually plug it in at. That's all that wire is from. Oh no. Of course, we drop everything. Man, I remember I got the 60 gig model when it first came out. That thing was $600. It's ridiculous back then to have to pay $600 for a console. And especially when these first came out. I don't know, it was weird because it was almost like it had the same issues. Not really issues, but I guess it had the same feel that the PlayStation 5 and stuff had when it first came out. Like, I guess since it was supporting still the PS4, the PS5, it was always that idea of, are the games truly next gen or not yet? Are they truly taking advantage of the PS5 and what it can do? And that was really what these models suffered from at launch was your games like, I think Ridge Racer, you had the new Madden, which was weird because that year a lot of people just played the older Madden instead of the instead of the new one because so many people hated the new one. And then you had Mobile Gundam's Crossfire, which looked like a PS2 game. So kind of was weird because, like I said, it just people really didn't feel like it was taking advantage of what the PS3 was supposed to be capable of doing. Ooh, you see, we still got a whole bunch of dust bunnies left. Uh, we should be able to go ahead and take this one on out. Let's see if we can get this plug out. Plug is really only held in by really not much of anything. But this is just a little grounding screw for it. Let's take these cables off. Now, I think it should slide right on out. Is anything holding it down? It's not supposed to be. But then again, supposed to be and what actually is always two different things. Then there's always another scenario when you're recording it. That's when nothing ever goes right. That's just how that goes. Dang it. I hate these things so much. These never want to come up for me. There we go. Whew. For whatever reason, that part is always the worst one. Like, you really got to be careful with it because it will break. I don't know if it's because it's a lot closer to the heat and it just really works on the plastic right there on that locking cable. But for whatever reason, that one is always like, I'm always super tense getting it off because I don't want to break it. Whereas the one underneath the disk drive itself, I mean, you could just like touch it with your finger and it's going to pop loose and unlock and then knock the ribbon cable out, which is another reason why I usually just go that route and get those. Matter of fact, we're gonna blow this off before we dive in it some more. Okay, there we go. Let's see here. Why do we want to do this? We'll just take this one out of the board. There we go. Come on out. If you take it here, it does have like a little lock. You just knock it up. But actually, it's better to just leave that ribbon cable in the little touch sensor device is what I call it. Probably has a way better name, but that's what I call it. It's what you basically touch to power on and eject your discs if you want to. Let's see here. Come on. Come on off of there. There we go. No. There we go. All right. Yeah. And next is the actual bracket for our touch bar assembly. Oh my gosh, what's wrong with my hands? My hands never shake until I need them to be still. I don't know if any other people have that problem, but apparently, apparently that's how my hands work. They are perfectly still, still as statues, till I need them to be still, and then they just get the shaking. Let's see, come on there, Dust Bunny. Yeah. And let's see, what's next? We can probably pop this one up right there. Boop, boop, boop. Okay. And we'll take out all these screws along the side, and that is what's holding this thing down. So let's go ahead and start. Oh man, this thing turns off so fast. Did it die? All right, it did. Good, thank God. It's perfect for stuff like this where it's just a lot of little screws that you really don't feel like sitting there and manually taking out if possible. One good thing about these consoles is that a lot of the screws are the exact same. There's a few, like this one here and that one there, that are a different size, like a little bit smaller. But for the most part, the same size screw goes everywhere. It reminds me a lot, and see that one's longer. Long is always by the power supply or the power plug. Also, technically, I guess by the power supply because it sits right there. But yeah, it reminds me a lot of the old, but the Nintendo and stuff because those ones also did a lot of the same screws like all the way around, which is great because if you end up getting one like I will and I have, getting a console that I can't fix, Sometimes instead of just selling them as, broken on like Macari or eBay or something like that, I will I'll just keep them and I'll just use them as parts because sometimes that's actually a lot more beneficial than, maybe just getting the wow, that one like was really loose, which just odd. I mean, either it got loose over time, which is weird. I doubt that's what happened, or there just never was that tight coming from whoever was building these for Sony. Yeah, like that is like they're not tight at all. Wow. I guess there's always a chance of someone actually going in this thing and maybe they serviced it at a long time ago. Serviced it. I guess. uh, I doubt that is what happened, but those did come out like really easily. Ugh, come on off there, buddy. Come on. Come on. Are you gonna come off for me? All right, come on. We'll just knock this off real quick, I think. Are you gonna come off? All right. Are you just gonna give me a hard time? All right, there we go. Starting to make a little progress here. All right. Ugh, there we go. Yep, that's filthy. That's what the old fan is living in. Pure filth. Blow that out. Good God. All right, we're going to actually have to blow off the table. Let me sit this down here for a second. Let's flip this over. And yeah, that's your fan. That's what's keeping the old thing cool. Good God, this thing was a super dust bunny. What a good way to start off the channel, though, to show you like how bad these things can be. All right, but it's no problem. We actually gonna need some more compressed air. Oh, damn it! Oh, stop getting me. All right, that's good enough. Really, just kind of treating those things. Yeah, because this really isn't like the cleaning process. This is just to get rid of the egregious dust or dirt. But we do the actual cleaning somewhere. The actual cleaning of the stuff is a lot more than that. Let's see. All right, there we go. Get some of them dust bunnies off my desk without blowing away all my screws. I did that once before. I thought I was getting all the dirt on the desk and I just started spraying. Screws shot off everywhere. And yeah, it wasn't fun because I literally had to I was on my hands and knees crawling around on the floor trying to find them in the carpet. And it was on, what was I working on? I can't remember. It might have been like my first 360, but I really didn't know the console like that. So it was terrible because I was like, man, hopefully I put this thing back together. And somehow I did, and that was really thanks to YouTube. I had to watch at a granular level to see where he was putting each screw and try to measure them with my eyes. It was a learning thing. That's for sure. Why is this thing not trying to come out? It is not usually doing all that, but whatever. Like I said, it's doing it because we're on camera. That's how that works. Whenever you're on camera, it's never going to be as easy as it always is. It's like it just knows that you're on camera. There we go. All right, so now we can get that out of there. No wonder it's because I was doing it the wrong way. Comes out through the bottom. So we can get that off. That thing's filthy all the way around it. That there. Peel these back so we can get this this little back shield off. Grab this. Boop. And right there. Boop. All right. Take that off. Oh, if you ever wonder if it's a 20 gig or not, besides the stuff I said at the beginning, the 20 gig is CECHB01 instead of A01. I try to set all my parts over here that I can just like throw in the water and soap and water and just clean up. I usually just throw them over here. Things like this, you know, it's stuff that I'm going to have to hit it with compressed air, hit it with a little 91% isopropyl alcohol. Definitely not bug and tar remover because clearly it says 91% right there. You don't even have to change it. You just write 91% alcohol on it and it just changes the contents. It's miraculous. That's not true. Don't don't sue me for that. Well, he may be ruining my stuff. All right, there we go. Ugh. All right, let's sit that there. Same thing with that. We'll do that, and we like to try that sometimes, especially for these, because like these and the 60 gigs, even though these ones are cheaper than the 60 gigs go for like quite a bit. I don't sell them for like 500 or 600. I usually move them for like around 350. I know people out there like, God, yeah, that's so cheap of you. But hey, it's better than 500 or 600. Well, I do like to hit the metal parts with this metal polished cream. It's like an aluminum, like basically it's for your car wheels, but I use it for this to make it kind of shine. I feel like if you're paying this level of money for this stuff, it should get to you in a certain what do you call it, capacity, a certain prettiness. I don't know the word to use there, but you know what I mean. Blow that off, blow that off. Apparently, when I work on stuff, I get a surprise Boston accent. I don't know where that even came from. All right. So let's see here. Is there any way you're going to come off yet? Or is it not time? I believe it's time though. Yeah, it is. It is time. You just got to break the old what you call it off of it. The um the old thermal paste. That's what's kind of holding this thing there. So you want to be somewhat gentle with it, but then again, you kind of can't at the same time. So you kind of just want to kind of work it around a little bit. Here's what I do. No, I don't want that. Is there any way I can? There we go. Okay. So she starts to free up. There we go. There we go. Oh, we gotta undo the fan on the other side. Right there. Boop. Fan comes off. And obviously the fan's filthy. There's your old thermal paste, and you can see that there's pretty much nothing left. Here's the thermal paste that's actually touching the chips or touching I guess they're heat spreaders or whatever. That's on top of the chips. I mean, there's nothing left, so kind of blow that off. Right. Oh God. See that? Almost blew that dang chip off. We're gonna disassemble that fan assembly. And let's take off our little thing for the battery. There we go. And can oh yeah, got to take these little two screws off for the it's two screws right there for the little hard drive. What? It's not really the tray, but I guess it's the enclosure. That's what you would call it. Those are like super small screws. So which is not bad because I mean, it allows you to more easily remember like where those ones go. Now it's time to start separating the board from this thing. Oh, come on here. Dang it. Are you not going to come off here for me? Of course you won't. Again. And there is nothing holding you down. Why won't you come off now? Or miraculously, there is something holding it down. But I'm like 100% sure there isn't. All right, there we go. Now we should be all right to just slide it. There we go. All right. And here's your board. Here's your last little, whatever you want to call these things, brackets. Yeah, spray that out. Man, this thing is filthy. So usually I just pretty much do all that, spray everything down, and then well, not spray everything down, but get all of the like the dust and stuff off. And then for the boards, like chips and stuff, you just spray them with some isopropyl alcohol and hit them with like a little brush. You can use a toothbrush if you want, or you can use brushes like this. Make sure it's 91% though. You don't want anything else because the water content is probably too high. Well, there really is no probably, but I would say use the what you call I just said the 91%. All right, let's go ahead and knock these out. Boop, boop, boop. Okay, and boom, there's your fan. Yeah, we're definitely gonna need to go get some more compressed air. Thought I had more, but I didn't, so I ended up having to make a trip to the store to go get compressed air. First video starting off swimmingly. But yeah, so here's your fan. Some people will upgrade this to the 19 blade. I'm not upgrading it. I'm just cleaning everything out, getting it back to where it should be, and this thing will run like a champ. To be honest, I don't really think you need to upgrade the fan. Some people swear by it. Some people say that it actually is not good. I don't know. When you go on the internet, you're always going to find basically whatever you knew was completely wrong. So if you go on the internet, just be prepared to be told that everything you've believed all your life when it comes to whatever it is you do, you were completely wrong. So it is what it is. I think the fan on it works perfectly fine as long as it's serviced correctly. I feel like that actually is is a lot more important than changing the fan. Because if you get a 19 blade fan in there, that's going to be great. But guess what? Someone goes and sticks this thing inside of a box again. Hey, it's just going to be a dust bunny with a 19 blade fan. That's exactly what's going to happen. So, all right, we'll take these pieces off here. Right. Let's see. I think there's one on the bottom too. These always suck getting off. So I kind of just try to put that there and hold it. Then I come along the bottom and get the one off the bottom. And just try to knock it back enough to where they don't sit back down on the old pieces. Oh God. I'm gonna let you know now. It's a pain getting these things off and not breaking them. I definitely think it just sat back. Oh, I didn't sit back on it. Thank you. There we go. There we go. We're making some progress. All right. Got that one. Then this last one. There we go. Then that. Yep. That off. Then you have these ones over here, which same thing. Just slide that off. She should come right on out. Well, of course, it had to make me out to be a lie. Because why wouldn't it? Damn, come on here. Oh, it's because it's stuck on this. There we go. Like, cut a little hole through these. It's like a little foam thing right here. You can keep the foam on there. You just got to cut a little slit so that you can take it out. These ones I'll just clean up with some alcohol just to save that foam. Does the foam really do much? Honestly, no. But you also have people tell you, it's there for a reason, bro. They're also the people who don't believe in extra bolts. Oh, no, we don't believe in extra bolts. It's just a joke. Anybody out there who works on cars will probably get that joke. Manufacturers always putting in extra bolts just in case you lose one or two. Right. Just slowly get these ones off. Come out of there. Are you? Yep, you're in there still. Oh gosh, I hate these ones so much. There it is. Come on out. There we go. Ugh, it's like a little clip right there that sticks in there. Always makes that a pain. That one can be washed. Right. We'll take off this little heat sink. Since we got all that stuff off, we can take this top piece off. That's what all that plastic does. Pretty much just hold this top bracket on. Again, because of the foam, we'll just do a isopropyl alcohol on that one. And now that we got that off, you got your little piece right here. Pretty much just sits in there. It's like think of it as like a little spacer, but it goes right there. And it hugs onto that. But yeah, so take that back out. That's going to get cleaned up. And now these will just pop up like that. Boop. Get that off. Come off. There we go. And here is your heat sink. Or one of them. The other one is merged to the thing. But this one it actually detaches and comes out. And like everything, all the other stuff, this will be cleaned up with some isopropyl alcohol and just clean out all the fins and stuff, clean off the old thermal paste here and here and on the chips because we'll be putting some new thermal paste on it. I don't know where my thermal paste is. It's over in there. It's over in there. We'll be putting that on there to make sure she runs nice and cool and dissipates heat away from the chip the way it should, or at least optimally anyway, like it came from the factory, which is really why these things end up failing. A lot of people, believe that, they fail because it was just a bad design. I guess you can argue it. But to me, I don't think it's so much of bad design as it is. I mean, look at the way this looked. And it was still playing, but if you kept playing it in the shape it was, of course it's going to overheat and burn your chip up. Like, the thing was just smothering in dirt and dust. It's only going to be a matter of time. I don't really contribute that to bad design and just contribute that to, just lack of lack of any type of cleaning. There we go. All right. So we have it completely disassembled. I'm going to take, well, except for these, I guess, the fans and stuff like that. These, I'm going to take that stuff. I'm going to take that upstairs, clean this up. We'll bring this back down nice and clean. Then we'll go over this stuff just to clean it up and get it ready. We'll open up this dish tray and blow it out as well. So give me a few. I'll be back. I'm probably also going to run to the store because we're going to need some more of this. And through the magic of editing, it'll all happen in seconds. And wow. No, we're not going to edit. We're not going to edit right there. But yeah, I'll be back. And we're back. As you can see, got us a couple 4-packs here of some, what you call it, duster. It's electronic duster, compressed air. Still funny to me that you have to show ID in order to purchase compressed air. It's very odd. I mean, I guess there's stuff you can do with these, but I'm not sure what that is, but I'm sure it must be something if they, make you show your ID to buy this stuff. So we got some more of that. And I also had to buy a new packing tape gun as well because my wife told me that she didn't touch my old one and she didn't lose it. So that pretty much confirms she touched it, moved it, and lost it. So I need to buy another one of these so that can pack up all the stuff again. I've been using just like the regular packing tape roll and cutting it with a box cutter, and that got old. So we finally got a new packing tape gun, whatever you want to call it. I don't know. Oh dang, I forgot these two. So we did. Ooh, excuse me. So we did clean up all of the stuff. I will show you that in a little bit. But we're about to focus on these right now. These ones that really just take, wow. Thank you, Walmart. Thank you, Walmart, for that. Okay, well, I'll just grab the old one. Yoink. Oh, yeah, we got to break this off. There we go. All right. And, oops. I almost broke it myself. All right, back in business. Back in business. Okay. So, ooh, that power. Yeah, the other one was real low because this one's kicking hard. All right, spray her down with some good old isopropyl. There we go. Now I'm sure people are like, you're using too much. You're using too much. I probably am. I mean, like I said, I'm not by any means a professional at this. Just a guy who likes tinkering with stuff, who decided he might as well make it a little business on the side and see what comes of it. So that's pretty much how this all came to be. It was just a, let's see what happens type deal. All right, clean that up. All right, nice and clean, nice and shiny. There we go. So we'll sit her back over here. The next video will be of me putting everything back together. So hopefully you guys stick around for that one. God dang it, my brush. I left my brush upstairs. I really need that too. We're gonna have to go back up there really quick to get that. Oh God, this fan is horrible. It's not the worst fan I've ever had. We'll set this one off to the side right here until I go get the until I go get the brush. Let's see here. Blow this off. Not that. Oh well, we just lost. Oh, we just lost that. Like it's shot way over there in the corner. I don't know where it went, so that's all right. Okay, brush that up a little bit. Clean those. Like, one thing I had to teach myself, like when I was like, cause I'm probably maybe like a couple months in right now of just starting this whole thing. And one thing I had to really break myself out of the habit of was cleaning stuff before I tested it. And now I know what you're thinking. You're like, well, that's common sense. You shouldn't be cleaning before you actually test it. And what happens is you just kind of get like, I don't know, you kind of get in like so much of a gung ho mode to where you just like, you're like, oh, let me hurry up and break this down and clean it up, because you probably just finished cleaning and reassembling the last thing. So you kind of get stuck in clean mode. Then next thing you know, you're like, 3/4 of the way into this thing, taking it down and, going all through it. And then you look up and you say, wait a second, does this thing even work? And the worst part about it is, it's not only, do you plug it in and, you put it all back together after you finish cleaning it up, and then you find out, no, it actually isn't working. That's not the bad part. The bad part is now you don't know if it worked before you touched it or not. So you don't know if you broke it or if it was just broke from the beginning. That's the worst part. Because then you're just stuck there and you're like, well, okay, what's wrong with it? Is it not reading a disc, or is it just not turning on? Then you got to kind of retrace your steps. Because a lot of this stuff I get, it just comes in and it says, hey, it's not tested. You're kind of buying it at your own risk type thing. So, which, kind of leaves you out there where you don't really know, if it was broke or not. Because a lot of these things, like this 20 gig PlayStation I'm fooling with right now, came in, it was not tested. They said, which is weird, they said they couldn't test it. The only thing it didn't come with was the HDMI cord and a controller. I guess you could have, well, I guess you couldn't display it without HDMI cable, but I find it hard to believe nobody had an HDMI cable laying around, but I digress. So when you buy those, I mean, I always just assume they're broken in the worst of ways. But this one wasn't. It was just super dirty. So, which I'll take a super dirty over a broken any day, because I'd rather just clean stuff up. Because either way, I'm going to have to clean it. Even if it comes in broken, I mean, I got to still break it down and clean it up. Some things are just a lot easier than others. Like if it's a Nintendo, you can break a Nintendo down and clean it up probably in 15 minutes. It doesn't take long at all. The longest process of fooling with a Nintendo is really just de-yellowing it. If the case is really yellow, you gotta let that do treatment and stuff in the peroxide UV bath. So that kind of is what eats your time. All right. Now we can get all this old thermal paste off while we're also cleaning. Cleaning this board up. Okay. Right. That off of there. Oh, sit y'all back over there because I won't need you for a little bit. And squirt, 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 squirt. So I'm not like going to town on this stuff, but I do want to at least just kind of clean it up a little bit. I'll clean up the actual thermal pads in a little bit. Oh man. There we go. The fun part about doing all this is after you verify that it did work before you touch it, is that good part of where you get to go back in it after you did all this and you just like, please, please God, please don't let me turn this into a non-working console, because it was working just fine before I opened it. But normally you're okay. Even though these things can look maybe a little intimidating, obviously they're not. They're not all that bad. There's so many YouTube videos out there now. Like, you can always find a YouTube video that'll walk you through it. If you're uneasy about maybe opening one up yourself. Okay. Oh. You know, I just realized this thing has 4 USB ports, which is weird. I thought the 20 gigs only had 2. And I literally did that earlier. I pointed at it and said, there's only 2. No one told me that. No, fool. There's 2 more besides your thumb. But yeah, so that's crazy. I could have sworn the 20 gigs came with 2. What? That's fine. Oh no. Come here. Yeah, nasty thermal paste. Trying to get the heavy stuff off the corners first. Because I try to stop it from getting on the board, but as you can see, I'm very unsuccessful at it. There we go. Boop. Grab me another one of these. Boom. Yeah, this stuff is it's pretty straightforward. It's not bad. Now, some people will actually de-lid these and go under there and put even and redo the paste underneath of it. I honestly don't go that far just because my skills aren't there. I usually practice with that on boards that are fried. That way I can at least get the mechanics down, but I'm not at the point to where I feel comfortable enough to do that on consoles that I know are working. And we just honestly just don't have the capital to be to be losing perfectly working consoles for me to test my skills on just yet. So, but trust me, this is a lot further than a lot of people go that's selling on Amazon. Most consoles you're going to get off Amazon is really just people doing no more than cleaning up the outside. So even though I may not be going as far as some can, I feel like this is still, you know, giving you your money's worth. Right. Clean that all up. Okay. And clean. Oops. Okay, clean that on up. Now, you might be wondering, like, why I say, you know, hey, you know, we're actually going to be putting this together in the next video. Because when I wash all that stuff, like when I wash it, I don't use anything but just water and dish soap. But when I wash all that stuff, I don't like to put it together that same day. I usually like to let it sit overnight just to make sure everything dries out, like all the little creases and crevices. It just makes me feel better about the whole process. You don't really want to put one together and you got like some, you know, some water hiding out somewhere. It's really just, it's not worth it to me. So I usually just let them sit for a while and then I'll come back and put them together. Trying to maybe get a little extra surplus in here, and I want to get a fan. I feel like that would help speed up the process, because then I could just put them under a fan, and while I'm doing other things like breaking down the next console or whatever, I'm pretty sure it will be perfectly dry by then, then we can just throw it back together. So when I do get that fan, I'm gonna speak it into existence. When I do get that fan, hopefully I remember back when he used to only do disassemblies in one video, and we'd have to wait till a whole nother day for him to put it back together. Man, how far he's come. All right, that's about it. So we're not going crazy, but right, and all that looks good. Okay, and we will set this one on off to the side. Oh, hold on. Ooh, get that off of there. Over the thermal paste sitting there. And I will reapply the thermal paste in the video, the next video of me actually putting all this back together. No point in putting thermal paste on something unless you're ready to put it right, you know, actually assemble it. It's just gonna sit there, probably dry out. I don't know why you would do that, but we can't. Ooh, there we go. Some of that off. Boom, boom. Okay, we are going to sit this board. You know what? We'll sit the board right here. That'll be fine. Got those, got that. Let's go ahead and I really would like to, you know what? I'll be back. I'm gonna go get the brush so that we can really get into the crevices here. I probably could use that toothbrush, but I would rather not just because of how filthy this is. I'd rather keep that for the actual brush I use for it. But I'll be right back. All right. We're back. I have my brush. First thing we want to do is trying to get in there and get a lot of this stuff out. And then we're going to spray it with the isopropyl alcohol and really clean her on up. Let's see. Yeah, she's cleaning up really good. Like I said, it doesn't really take a whole lot to clean these consoles. Pretty much soap and water for the shell parts of it. Isopropyl alcohol for the rest. And I mean, if you really want to, even on the shell and stuff, you can put maybe not so much on the shiny PS3s, the fat ones, just because they are, like I said, the plastic is more of like a shiny plastic. But if you were doing the slims, you could actually use like a plastic cleaner like you would use on a car, like for your black plastic parts, like almost like a trim restore. You could use that on if you really want to like bring that dark, you know, like that dark deep black out of it again. If it seems like it's a little ashy. Okay. Yeah, you could definitely do that. I mean, it works amazingly. The other thing you could actually do is right after you do that, because sometimes like people do it, they say it leaves like a residue on there. So if you don't want that, or if you feel like there is a residue there, then all you have to do really is just put some what you call it, you put it right on the I would just put it on the rag itself and then go over it. That always seems to help leave that like oily residue from sitting on it. I guess when you know, when you're trying to do it and you're putting the stuff like right on the console and then you're rubbing it in, you know, I think that's when you get more of that oily residue feel. But yeah, this one's coming along nice. Coming along really good. Okay. Grab our rag from our little rag holder over here. Clean him on up. Wipe off that middle. Get that with these cables, clean them up a little bit. Then we'll take this, basically go up. You know what? Let's do this one. Probably a little bit better with the flat one. We got too much rag. And this just kind of gets that residue that falls down on the on that metal backing piece. that when you're, brushing it with the brush and the rag, brushing the alcohol, you'll see it. It'll start like sitting down there, and you really just can't get to it with the brush. So I usually just take one of these, stick in a rag, and then just rock around it. Just move the fan around. Works pretty good. But yeah, you see the fan's definitely it's a night and day difference on the fan. So this fan is going to work amazing to keep it cool once again, as it's not going to be working against, all that dirt and grime that we took off of it. So that's pretty much going to wrap up this one. Matter of fact, no. It's not going to wrap up this one. Let's brush off some of this. Now these, I don't really open up. I blow them out. As you seen, I was blowing them out earlier. But I don't go inside of them and fool with them. One, because I don't want to die. Nah, like these things can hold a lot of current. People don't realize like the capacitor, I guess they're capacitors or whatever that's in here. You can't just go in there and mess with these things. Like just because you think, oh, I unplugged it from the wall, I'm fine. It doesn't have any juice. That is not the case. That is not the case with these power supplies. So whenever you're working on stuff, just make sure that if you're going to jump into it, test them, and look to make sure you know what you're testing, but test to make sure they're not holding any voltage or holding any juice. Voltage may not be the right word, but make sure they're not holding any juice in there. You can see like this thing is clean. And I'll try to blow it out. Let's see if we can hit it again. Yeah. Yeah, she looks good. I said, I'm good. It's not like it's caked coming off, like coming out of it. So that's good. I've seen ones that was horrible. So we'll sit that right here. And then let's go ahead and break you down. Let's take that off. All that dirt on the side. I forgot all about doing this part. Okay, boom. Get this dirt that's off of the where you put your disc in at. Clean that up. Kind of wipe these cables down a little bit. All right. Now, hopefully one day we'll get a, it sounds weird to say hopefully, like hopefully I'll get one that's messed up. But if we ever get one that won't accept the disc, then we can actually go over how easy it is to fix that problem. As long as obviously nothing inside is broken, but usually it's not broken. And you just have to reset the disc thing, and usually works out really well. One thing to remember is if you ever someone's coming down here. I was wondering what that was. Let's see. Boom. Where is, oh, there they are. Boom. Take these off. And last screw. You gotta make sure you put these back on this board, because this board is what marries up this disk drive with it. Boop. Slide that out. Right there. Not too bad. Mm-hmm. Let's see here. And that's nice and clean. We'll let that sit there until it dries up. All right. So you take these screws off here at the top. Let's see how this looks on the inside. Ooh. Normally these disk drives aren't that bad. Normally. See? Yeah, it's pretty clean in there. All considering how bad this one was. And here's the top part of your disk drive. Let's start off of there. Right. Take that out. It's just a magnet. This holds your disk in place while it's in there. And we got a couple screws to take on out of here. One. And two. Three. Four. And five. Oops. And let's take these off. Gotta take these little pieces of tape off over here to take that wire up. It's like a little teeny power wire that goes to the motor. Oops. Come on here. Oops. There it is. All right. That there. Then you just lift it off. Why is this not coming off? Oh. There it is. That tape was holding it. But yeah, you want to keep this like that. You don't want any of that stuff falling. All that looks really good. We'll blow it out though. All right. Sit you right there. And here is your actual disk drive assembly. Right there. Everything looks clean in there though. A little dirty right there though. Okay. Take us a Q-tip. A little bit of isopropyl alcohol on there. Clean her off. Okay. That motor and stuff off. Rails, a little dirtier than I thought. All right. What? Yeah. All right. Okay. Go. All right. Cleaned up the laser, so that's good to go. And we start putting it back together, which is easy. You just sit this right back on top. Boom. And start putting our screws back in, which is right there. And here. Boom. This one. All right. Let's put the magnet back on. Boom. That just literally just falls right in there. And we can throw this back on. Oh, well, make sure we put our little power wire back first, I guess. And then put our tape back over it. There we go. Now we can throw this back on. And this goes this way. All right. Yep. Boom. Then we flip it over. Boom. First thing you want to make sure of when you flip it over, just make sure all these are still in the right spot. All these cables, they shouldn't have moved, but oh, we didn't even get on this side. Did not see any of that. There we go. All right, there we go. That's better. Okay. All right. Now we put our board back. Now you don't really have to worry about the board, obviously, because it's just isopropyl alcohol, so you're not hurting anything if it's still a little damp. So you've got this right here. You want to make sure these two wires, well, this wire and this ribbon cable are kind of slanted out the way. Slide this right back in, like so. Make sure you pull all your ribbon cables back, like that. Get this one. Boop. Okay. And then we're good to go. line this up on the little black things right there. And we can start putting her back together. Should be 5 black screws. That's the first one. Got one here, one there, one there. One here and one here. And the ones on the corner are the ones that are going to have these little brackets on them. So let's put this on. And we are just about done the disassembly and cleaning process. Man, this thing's gonna shine when I'm done. Can't wait to see it when it's done. Oh, come on off it now. Ah, that's why. There we go. This one has to slide right in that. There it is. It's like a little hole right there that it has to go down in. And this one just clamps over the entire side. So this one, it's a lot easier to set. The other one's really not hard to sit down either, but it's just a little different. Okay, got those. Our last 2 black bolts here. Boop, or screws. There we go. And should be one more. There it is. Boom. Okay. Now, start lining these back up to put these back where they need to go. Boop. Boop. All right, that's one. Oh, come on. There we go. Boop. Put that in there. Boop. And grab this. And slide that one up in there. Lock it. And push down your little tape to hold it in. Well, it's going to hold in place either way, but that tape is, I don't know why the tape's there, but I'm sure it does something. So we always make sure we put it back. Slide these in. Boom. And then make sure you put in your little power cable right here. Because if you don't, the motor's not going to work for your disk drive. The good thing is if you do forget it, it's not overly difficult to get the disk drive back out. It's like pretty much right when you take off the top, it's there. So that makes it pretty simple. All right, so we got our disk drive done. It's all cleaned out, ready to go. We'll set that right there. We got our power supply done. It's ready to go. And I believe that, oh no, let's show you the after for the case parts. Oh, my bones. There we go. This is not easy. Ooh. Oh, so old, so old. Okay. Let's see, we'll sit these down here for right now. But yeah, so for the most part, these are pretty much dry. As you can see, you know, these cleaned up a lot nicer than what they were. We're also just probably might try to clean that up a little bit, get a little bit of little fine scratches out of it if we can. But then again, these consoles, I mean, they come with scratches, but you can see here, I mean, it's definitely a night and day difference on what it looked like before we pulled a lot of these off. That's just all of your fan pieces right here. But like I said, I usually like to let it sit, mostly because a lot of like these foams and just your little corners and stuff, sometimes it can just hold water like in a little place and it's a little hard to find out. Like I said, we'll get this off. We'll try to use some compound. That should buff that right on out just to get that little bit of stuff off. But that's all stuff we do when it's time to put it back together. said the first clean is really just to address the like crazy amount of dirt that's usually hiding in these things. You can see like it's super night and day difference compared to what it was. I always loved the black. Like the 20 gig just has this like the black sleek right here, or this black strip instead of the chrome one. I don't know. To me, I just like the all black look better than that chrome piece. And that's really, oh yeah, we got these. We're gonna knock this off because always the alcohol just makes it the easiest to get this stuff off. There we go. And let's use our yellow rag, which is just for this. I don't have to be as gentle with these ones as I am when I'm on the board. I'll try to like make sure that the old thermal paste kind of comes off perfect. These is a lot easier because there's really nothing there for it to get on, or nothing there for me to like hit or accidentally mess up. So let's clean these points off, knock that off into the ground. But yeah, so you can tell like this is way better than what it was. Vents are nice and clean. This is where our thermal paste is going to be touching on the back of these, so got to make sure that point is nice and clean as well for when you apply the new paste. But yep, so we'll put that down. Have our other piece of the heat sinks right here, and see that's a lot better. But we have to get the and stuff. Sometimes, as you can see, there's moisture in there. Again, like you would just blow it out. But even after blowing it out, to me, I just find it's easier. Just let it sit, let it dry, let it do its thing. There's no point in really rushing it. Last thing you want to do is go through all this and then you leave some water behind or something, put it all back together, and somehow it shorts out. So, I mean, I feel like it's far too much work involved in cleaning one of these things up to just like shortcut it right at the end and just cost yourself a bunch of time, you know, when you could have easily just waited a little bit. I mean, there's plenty of things to do, so it's not like I can't find something else to do in the meantime while I'm waiting on these to dry. Plenty of things to take apart, plenty of things to clean, test, so just let it dry and use your time for other things. Got this nice and clean. This is the top of the shell casing for the fan here. This is like the bracket sort of casing for the board. You can tell like you got some, you know, like some smudges or whatever, but like I said, all this stuff is super clean, and we want to get those smudges out. You can always use that metal polish if you really want to. It's up to you, each your own if you want to use it. I would say some people probably like don't use it because your board's touching it. You don't want that residue touching your board. And I fully understand that. So just saying to each his own, just depending on how pretty you want it or how, you know, functional you want it. Because this is still 1,000 times better than what it was. And you may notice like you got one here and one here, but you're wondering like, where are these ones? Well, those ones are still on the board. So sometimes they'll stick to this, and sometimes they'll stick to the actual chip on the board. And these right here are just to help dissipate heat from off of that board, off of the chips that's on the board. So that's what those are for. If you are missing them, you do need to replace them. Do not put it back together unless you have these in the spots they're supposed to go. It will shorten the lifespan of that chip, which is going to shorten the lifespan of the console. Because once one of those chips burn out, your console is not going to work. And here is just the last part of the heat sink, or what the heat sink connects into, and the fan kind of blows its air out through that. So, but yeah, as you can see, I mean, this is way better than what it was. Stack that up there, and I think that's it. So yeah, so this is gonna be it for the first video. It's kind of long. All of them probably are going to be like a little long because there's gonna be a lot of me just talking about stuff and while I'm cleaning and trying to explain why I do things the way I do. And hopefully it makes sense to people. But catch us on the next one. The next video, we're going to be putting all this back together. Probably do a little bit more touching up on cleaning, try to make some of these black parts shine a little bit more. Yeah, so that's going to be it for the first one. Thanks for joining in on the channel. If you want to catch more of this, want to see the journey, please like, subscribe to the channel, and I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.